What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 19 of the Gamefall podcast. I'm Kyle Sherman, and seated next to me, on my right, Mr. John McVeigh.
Hi, everybody. If I have to step out, I have to help my wife because she's not doing real hot. So, we're going to try and make this quick so I can get back to helping.
An abbreviated show for you this week, but we didn't want to miss one, so with that, we'll just jump straight into things. Last week, obviously, a little bit of a different episode, just kind of looking back at sort of growing up with video games, what stood out for us as kids, and that sort of thing. This week, focusing a little bit more on what's happening currently again. Mm-hmm. And with that, we'll start the same way as we always do. John, what have you been playing lately?
Nothing really. I did play a game called Starlink a few weeks ago, but nothing lately, so... Starlink is the new Toys to Life game, but it's with spaceships, and I got it on the Switch, and it has Star Fox stuff, so it's really good. The Star Fox stuff is really good, and actually the actual story of the regular game is fun too. So yeah, that's all I've been playing. Yeah,
you've talked about it. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I'm sure before I leave here sometime soon, whenever that is, you'll at least give me a brief glimpse of it. For me, I've been pretty busy. We talked about last time what I've been playing, what I was expecting to play. Really didn't get a chance to get into Mankind Divided, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Mm-hmm. I played it briefly, but kind of got caught up, busy with things. But then I went out, bought some the Spider-Man Season Pass, played the first DLC episode, The Heist. Mm-hmm. As well as purchased Assassin's Creed Odyssey through the first introductory area of that. So I won't get into those too much right now because that's actually going to be sort of our topics of the show here today, is talking about those sorts of things and what we're looking forward to as well. That'll be our topic of the show, is kind of looking ahead to this holiday season, what we're looking forward to both in the next couple of months as well as early, first quarter of 2019. So with that, we'll get into my, reviews of what I've been playing lately. So we'll start with the Spider-Man DLC, The Heist, episode 1 of The City Never Sleeps. The Heist came out featuring Black Cat.
Oh, it's episodic?
So there's going to be 3 episodes. I forget what they're titled. The first one is The Heist. And so it's going to kind of surround this sort of gang war that's been brewing in the absence of Wilson Fisk and his crew running things. So now there's sort of a power vacuum, and Hammerhead, who's, I guess, an old-time Spidey villain and kind of runs part of the mafia gang. Maggia is what they call him in the game. Cool. And he's kind of trying to consolidate power, but Black Cat has sort of her own little thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of how it starts, is you get kind of sucked into it. It's set after the event of the main game, so you can play it technically whenever you want, I think, but definitely want to beat the main game first. So it starts out, there's a piece of art that's been stolen multiple times, and it's kind of a thing between the mafia families, and so Spidey goes to check it out, and sure enough, Black Cat shows up, takes it, goes to steal it, sets off the alarms. Spidey has to fight a ton of mafia guys, prevent them from stealing other pieces of art, because they're like, well, we can't get that one, so we're going to take what we can get. And it's this huge fight, and it was really fun, challenging but fun. And then it turns out Black Cat takes it, snaps it over her knee, and takes out a thumb drive from inside the frame. And so that's sort of what this all... So it sort of goes around her. She's stealing these various drives. Each of the 7 families has one of these drives. You don't know what they're for initially. You do learn eventually what they're for. I'm not going to spoil everything.
Are all of them in paintings?
No.
Okay.
But this specific one was. And so you go around and she's trying to get them. It turns out it has something to do with finances.
Naturally.
For the mafia families. And so it looks like she's collecting them for Hammerhead. God, I hope that's right. My memory's not what it used to be when it comes to this.
Guy.
Yeah, I believe it's Hammerhead. But, it turns out that she's double-crossing him, and she's trying to do it. But there's this whole thing that plays out, and I guess this will be a little bit of a spoiler. She tells Spider-Man the reason she's working for him is because Hammerhead has her son.
Oh,
and
geez.
For those that know the history, it's like, oh, she and Spider-Man used to date.
Mm-hmm.
And so it throws him for a loop, and Mary Jane's not happy about it because she's kind of working with Spider-Man on the investigation too, and she's like, she gets pissed the first time he tells her, and like, he's like, I don't know what's going on, and he tries to bring it up with Black Cat multiple times, and all this stuff, and she keeps playing him off, shoving it off, like clearly pulling him along, and it's just like, oh god, and you get to the end, and it's like, I guess I am just going to spoil this because I know you're not going to play it, and if you haven't played it, it's it's not consequential necessarily to the story, but it's,
it's not his son.
Yeah, the kid doesn't exist.
Okay, it's like in the comics when
she was playing Spidey along, so it ends up like the last one is in this vault.
Okay.
Hammerhead's vault, and so she steals that one. Spider-Man confronts her in the vault, then she essentially locks him in this vault and gets away.
Oh, lovely.
But Hammerhead knows where she is. He's got this tracker on it, and he has guys waiting at her penthouse. And so at the end of it, Spider-Man's like, no, they're going to kill you, because he overhears this. And she's like, oh, don't worry, I got it. And she goes to enter her penthouse, and she kind of like looks back at Spider-Man as he's swinging towards her.
Uh-huh.
And she kind of has this like smirk on her face. She opens the door, and there's just this huge explosion. And then afterwards, Mary Jane and Peter are talking, and they can't find the body, that sort of thing. And so it's like, oh, okay. And she made a comment to him on the phone. She's like, Black Cat. She's like, I haven't used up any of my lives yet. So I think the implication is she got away. She knew that was going to happen. She's playing him. So I don't think it's the last we've seen of Black Cat. But it definitely was a cliffhanger ending, and it was like, oh, okay, like, gotcha. It was good though. It was solid, and but the best scene of it, of the best thing that happened in the in that episode is there's a scene like sort of midway through where Peter's like, I'm starving. He calls a pizza place, has them deliver a pizza to the rooftop because they know it's for Spider-Man.
That's legit.
And then he sits there, he opens the pizza box, he's like, I love you, but now I'm going to have to destroy you.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's on the phone with Mary Jane, and you can just hear him eating pizza in the background.
That's hilarious.
It was great. So it was really enjoyable. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend it if you really enjoyed the first one, the main game, but it's definitely not necessary. So if you're not super into DLC and it's separate, there's other things to do where it kind of reloads the city of Manhattan, and it gets rid of a lot of the side stuff, but then you have other side things you have to do now. So now there's a new crime thing you have to fight, so you have to stop 5 crimes by the Maggia in each district. Not all the districts, but like 5 of them. So it's not every district. And then there's new challenges from Speedball, so you can get more challenge tokens.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to track down these old paintings, because apparently Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, her father was the original Black Cat. Oh. And so you track down the old paintings that he stole, that he stored away for, essentially he could retire on when he got out of jail. So that's what you have to track down. And there's a little bit of a twist in there. I won't give that one away. I
bet you get a suit.
You get 3 new suits.
Nice.
You get one right when you start. You get another one when you complete the story, DLC story. And then you get another one when you complete all the district challenges. So, and they're not the greatest suits. There's the Scarlet Spider Mark II. There's the UK Spider-Man. And then there's another one, and I'm spacing what it is. But they're solid. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But I just love the White Spider. To me, is the best one. I don't know why, but
is that the 2099 White Spider?
No. It's the one that they made just for this game. The advanced suit. Okay. The advanced suit. Yeah. Solid. I give it a thumbs up. Looking forward to the next one.
Did you buy the season pass?
Yes.
Okay. What if you don't buy the season pass? How much is the one DLC? Is it like $10, $15?
I want to say it's like 10, yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't think it'd be worth it for 10, but if you're paying $25 for the season pass,
which gives you 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So solid, and I enjoyed that game enough where I wanted to give them some more money, support it some more.
Okay.
That's the main reason I bought it. Not necessarily, I didn't need the DLC, but I wanted it because I wanted to support that game some more. So, thumbs up, looking forward to the next one.
Speaking of supporting things, Kyle's a big fan of supporting Assassin's Creed. And he may have supported Odyssey recently, and he may have some impressions for us.
So, like I said at the start, not super far into it yet.
Right.
Literally just started it
this morning.
Friday evening.
Friday.
I didn't get to play it much. I was actually talking with my cousin on the PSN, and I didn't want to like miss out on a lot of the story things, so I didn't get too far into it Friday night, and we're filming this here Saturday night, so I played it for a few hours this morning / early afternoon before my beloved Washington State Cougars went out and beat Stanford. 14th ranked Cougars beat the number 25th ranked Stanford Cardinal, have sole possession of first place in the Pac-12 North. Go Cougs. So before all that, I sat down and played it. Got through the opening island you start on. So yeah, you start out in sort of this controlled environment, where you're learning how to do things. The combat system is a little bit different in this one. I will say it opened up in an epic way. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a big fan of the movie 300, which that came out when we were in high school, didn't it?
Yes, high school.
Senior year? We're dating ourselves a little bit here.
I think so.
Fantastic movie. I own it. I saw it in theaters twice. It helped when you had friends that worked in the theaters.
It did.
You could see it for free. But you open up with that battle, the Battle of Thermopylae. You play as Leonidas. You get the whole speech beforehand. I was a little bit mad, he didn't, say, "Tonight we dine in hell." But, he gave it an impassioned speech. And then the best part is I was trying to figure out what all the buttons were, because you get some different powers, like some combat abilities and stuff. And one of them is the Spartan kick, which, you see in 300 when Leonidas, played by Gerard Butler, it says, "Blasphemy." This is mad. This is Sparta, and he kicks the guy into the pit. So that front kick, the Spartan kick, is in the game, and it's fantastic. I Spartan kicked a guy off the cliff. Great. It was a great introduction. And then when you complete that part, a trophy pops, and the trophy is named "This is Sparta."
That's hilarious.
Oh my god, so great, so great.
It's almost like
immediately hooked me.
Almost like they built the whole game just for that one moment.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna make that game and you didn't include a single 300 reference, something is wrong with you. And so I'm glad they got it done right off the bat.
Yes.
So that was great. Game looks great. That's one of the first things you notice. I mean, just and compared to other ones, so I'm thinking back to like Assassin's Creed Unity. I'm thinking about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. You're set in sort of that more industrial era, London and Paris and stuff like that, and it's a lot darker. This one, you're in the, it's 400 and some years BC, and you're in the Mediterranean, and it's bright. It's a lot brighter than those other games, just because of the climate, and you get that feeling, and the water's really blue, and
so just the color.
Yeah, and it's brighter, and it's you can tell you're in a different environment.
Okay.
And it's really fantastic so far. Like I said, I'm just in this one small island. I completed all the things there. The one, I guess, big cool thing is you do go to the Palace of Odysseus on Ithaca. Which at this point it's ruins already, because Odysseus, that was a long time before even the height of the Greek Empire. That was the early stages, so it was really cool. And I just got my ship and took off from this island, because you're kind of locked in this island because you have no way to go out into the open water.
Got it.
And so I got to the other thing, and I'm kind of getting into the main story now, and I'm not going to give away too many things, but you are a Spartan. You were born in Sparta, but you were cast out. Essentially, they tried to kill... I'm playing as Cassandra, or you can play as her brother Alexios. But...
Oh. So they're both in the game?
Kind of. At least as far as I know, there's only one or the other in the game. There is a reference...
They reference the other, like they reference...
Yeah, okay, well, I can give this away.
Thing.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
So you get a flashback to her childhood, and her dad is teaching her how to fight and stuff like that, and her mother has a small baby in her arms, and it says his name is Alexios.
Okay.
But then in another flashback scene, you see that apparently something was wrong with him, and so if you know anything about the Spartans, they throw them off a cliff. And so what happens is Cassandra, her mother's freaking out, but her dad, who's a Spartan general, essentially has to stand there and stuff. And so she
has no choice but to do that.
Cassandra ends up pushing the guy that was throwing Alexios off the cliff himself, like killing him in the process.
And that's why she got outcast.
And so, essentially the other Spartans made her father throw her off the cliff, and somehow she survives. And she, takes a boat out on her own and ends up on this island where she's kind of brought in by this crooked guy and made to essentially do his bidding. He's just like a 2-bit criminal, like just always has a scheme. Gotcha. That type of guy. And she's kind of his enforcer because she's this badass warrior because she learned from a young age how to fight.
Right.
And so, and so you go out from the starting island eventually, and you go and you run into the Spartan army. And who's leading it? Oh, it's your dad. And it turns out you have a contract on his head. Ooh. So you're supposed to take him out. That's where I'm at right now. That's the first thing in the mainland.
That's scary. How's the leveling?
I'm leveling pretty quick. There are some challenges early on, especially when you're trying to figure out the combat. It doesn't hold your hand at all. You are given 2 options, I guess. And that's why it's not holding my hand at all. There's the guided experience, where it holds your hand a little bit more. It tells you where to find everything. Or you can do the exploration mode.
Okay. Which
it doesn't hold your hand. Okay. And this is the way it's meant to be played, according to the options.
Oh, there's parentheses, meant to be played.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so this is the way this game was designed to be played. So that's why I played it that way. Because I was like, hey, I'll support that. And I'm familiar enough with the game, so I'm still trying to figure out some things, but I figured out how to fight with the spear pretty well. I'm figuring out the swords. Nice. Just because there's some timing things and stuff like that, and the different ways you can do your combos. Like with the spear, there's a pretty good 4-hit combo, like where you go 3 quick, 1 heavy.
Do they still have the parry kill?
No. They got rid of that after Black Flag.
I'll be avoiding this one.
But the parry is a lot better in this one than the last couple games. So there's an actual pretty good block where it opens them up for attack, and then if you dodge at the right time, it kind of slows everything down, and you can get in a bunch of attacks really quickly before they speed back up. So nice. Overall, really enjoying it. Looks really great. Gameplay super fun. Enjoying the story so far. Again, these are just initial impressions. Very early in this game. Like I said, only the second, location in the map. So I'll update you some more on it along the way. But yeah, solid start. Hooked me in right away with the Spartan thing, and the 300 reference. And yeah, looking forward to playing it some more. Sunday, it's a good day to play some. Sunday afternoon and evening. So yeah, definitely be planning to do that. So that'll, I guess, wrap up my initial impressions of that and my talks about what I've been playing. So with that, we don't really have any news items per se right now. Just time hasn't really permitted us to dig into that. Other than the big news item right now is Red Dead Revival. It's out.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption. I'm just making up titles because I'm trying to talk quickly. People seem to enjoy it. People seem to say it's looking really good. My cousin is one of them. He's my first-hand, my old roommate from when I lived back in Montana, also giving it good reviews
I don't think Jordan never played the first one.
He did play the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And then, my old roommate also really thoroughly enjoying it. So nice. I might buy it eventually, but it's not an immediate thing for me at this moment. So with that, we're going to move on to our topic of the show. And that, John, is what games are you looking forward to? And we'll look at this in 2 stages. One is the immediate future. So I'm talking about holiday 2018 / early 2019, if there's one particular game that stands out. And then we'll look more long-term as well. Like, what game are you looking forward to that's been announced, that's on the horizon, but isn't immediately going to be coming out?
Okay, so short-term... the only one that I'm looking forward to playing...
Pokemon!
...is Pokemon Let's Go. Yeah, I know it's very dorky, but
hey, you do you, man.
I like them.
You are who you are, and you've embraced that.
So, I like them, so I'm sure I'll have fun. I find it very funny because everyone's been ragging on it the whole time. And I'm like, I'm still excited.
You're just getting more and more excited.
And now they're like, maybe it's actually good. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Just let it come out and then decide.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple trailers, and I know how it's going to be.
Yeah, it's like, it's got you, they get to follow you. That's all I want. Why are you guys hating on this game?
If you could base a game on the trailer alone, John, Rage would have been the game of the decade.
Yeah, basically.
2000 to 2010, Rage would have been the game of the decade.
Everybody would have, it would have been the only game to play, but...
That's not how things played out.
Sadly,
and John loves it when I bring up Rage.
I hate Rage so much.
Kicking and screaming, he had to finish that game.
So much. I hate that game. Long term, I'm The Last of Us 2. Part 2? Whatever. The Last of Us. It looks really good. I can't wait to play it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of stealing my thunder a little bit with that pick, but I'll get into that more here in just a second. Because I'll give some reasoning and we can talk about it a little bit. For me, the immediate future, tough to say actually for me. I don't necessarily... Odyssey was a big one that I was wanting.
I guess January has, or like, early next year has Ghost of Tsushima, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I guess. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see more of it too, though. But I don't know a firm date off the top of my head. And I don't know what's really coming out. I mean, Odyssey was the big one for me, but... so I guess immediate future, I'm unclear.
Which is fine.
Because I've been living in this bubble where I'm, like, counting down until I can get Odyssey.
Yep.
And, maybe it's...
So he's living his game he wants to play this winter.
Yeah.
Fall, Christmas.
Well, and there's other games like, I'm interested in playing Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
2. And, maybe that's what I'm looking forward to doing after this, but I'm planning to sink a lot of hours into Odyssey. Like, I'm going to complete that thing. Because that's the kind of person I am.
That's just what he does.
That's the kind of person I am. But long term, I agree with you. It's got to be The Last of Us Part 2.
There's just no question.
And I was talking to my cousin, Jordan, about this last night.
Mm-hmm.
You joined in quickly just to say hi and stuff like that. But we were talking about The Last of Us, and he's just for context, he's going to grad school for film studies. Mm-hmm. So he's very into the arts, side of things and
experimenting with like freedom of expression. I don't know, like not him, maybe not him necessarily personally, but he likes like all sorts of media. He looks
at them in like in a different way, like from a different perspective than as opposed to just straight story. Or he appreciates different things about things, and so we were talking a little bit about the original Last of Us. I don't remember how we got to it, but just the way that it hooks you in immediately, like emotionally, invests you in the character of Joel with that opening where his daughter gets killed the day of the outbreak.
A creepy ass opening, by the way.
Yeah, and it was haunting.
Yeah.
And just the way that it hooks you in, and then you build on this relationship with Joel and Ellie throughout this, and the way it changes, and so you're just so heavily invested, and then the way that the game plays, the narrative, and the fact that it feels like you're fighting for your life. And ammo's rare. You're facing overwhelming numbers. It's very tough. And so, just so exciting. And the character of Ellie, the way you see her come up, by the end of the game, she's this essentially daughter figure to Joel, after he lost his daughter and stuff. So it's just like, looking forward to seeing the next chapter. I hope there's at least some, sighting of Joel, or you find out about Joel and what's happening with him. But, or at least something. I hope it's not like, oh, Joel's dead, moving on.
I don't think it will be.
No, I don't think it will
either.
either. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I'm curious. I am just so looking forward to seeing the next story, or the next chapter of that story told, because the first one was so incredibly well done that, and Naughty Dog did such an incredible job with it, especially when you compare it to like Uncharted. Uncharted is great in its own right, but it's such a different tone than The Last of Us, and they did such a masterful job changing that tone and adapting a new one that I wanted more of it, and I'm glad that they took their time putting this game together, and that they're going to do it right. Mm-hmm. So I want it. That's what I'm looking forward to most long term in terms of the games we've seen announced.
Exactly.
So that'll wrap things up here for this show. Again, this is a quick one, just getting this in as quickly as we can here as John deals with some family health stuff. Mm-hmm. And before we wrap it up, what are you going to be playing here when you get the time?
Probably a little bit more Starlink. Maybe some Pokemon, depending on when I get more time.
Oh, and you know what I'm playing. You know what I'm playing. What's up, Assassin's Creed?
Odyssey, all day, every day.
I'm a little mad I'm a couple weeks late to the party, but I'm going to make up for it with reckless abandon.
Yes.
So that will wrap things up here from episode 19 of the Gamefall podcast. I apologize about having episode 18 out a little late. I ran into some issues editing, time-wise, busy with the new job.
It happens.
Trying to figure that out, but we're shooting for Wednesdays. If not Wednesdays, it'll definitely be out by Friday. Bear with us as we get the schedule thing ironed out. Mm-hmm. Things keep coming up in life. Hope you understand that. We're doing our best to do this, but again, we're just doing this for fun, and hope you're enjoying it. Any constructive criticism is welcome. Just don't be a dick about it.
Because then we won't listen.
Yeah. So,
thank you for watching.
For John McVeigh,
he's Kyle Sherman. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you next time.